Oh, guys, good, you're here. I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why? Did you finally listen to it?
Before we start this podcast, let me invite you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or any podcaster. I'm such a cute. The Groomer Next Door podcast.
Sit down.
Hello, Pups and Kittens, and welcome to episode 134 of The Groomer Next Door. This episode is Top Breeds, Pros and Cons, Part 2. I'm your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me, as always, is the fabulous Sarah.
Hello.
And, of course, we have Claire.
Hello.
Alright, before we even kick off the show, I want to actually take a moment to actually have silence for all the sad situations that have happened this week. Whether it's the killings of 2 suspects, and even more so, the tragic and senseless act of that sniper who killed the 5 police officers in Dallas, Texas. So let's take a moment of silence and pay tribute to them. Well, this week we're going to have a great show for you, and we're going to actually take all of your minds away from all the bad things that are happening around, and for the next hour we're hoping to give you a little bit of something fun to enjoy. So let's dive into the weekly roundup.
The weekly roundup. Yeehaw.
Alright, this week on our weekly roundup, well, we only had 4 days of work, which was quite nice, but we've got so much going on with fostering that it's a side project. I really have to start off by thanking the Ozarks Actors Theater for being just so amazing. I know we really weren't able to talk a lot about it last week because it happened after we recorded the podcast, and we kind of slipped it in as kind of a little extra edition, but they're totally amazing people. They did such a great job getting the mama cat, which has been named Lady Macbeth, which you, Sarah, were the ones who named her.
That would be a little appropriate. I didn't know there are many other characters in theater that might coincide with her a little bit better, but I was like, well, there's, Lady McBee.
I liked it. I was going with Lucille Furball, but I think yours is a little bit better.
It's more accurate because, it's a little different from TV and then theater.
You're right, and you're completely right. It was completely different.
But it was pretty great with, having the email come in and then all of a sudden, okay, we'll be there in 2 minutes.
And we were there in 2 minutes. It didn't matter.
We weren't feeling good.
No.
I pulled out my back. I screwed up my lower back. You were not feeling good. We got done with the...
Well, we had just finished. You had just finished making dinner. I had yet to edit the podcast, and you sat down. I kicked off my shoes finally, which is weird. It was late too. It was like 7 o'clock. I kick off my shoes.
Well, because we didn't do grocery shopping on Saturday or Friday like we normally do.
Right.
We did it Saturday, so it messed up everything. So when we finally got home, and then I made chicken and dumplings, which takes a while.
That's right,
it does take a while. So when I get the bowl, I sit down, I finally look at the phone, and I look at the email, and I'm like, hey.
I loved how you said it to me. You go, hey, there's a mama cat who's given birth to kittens, and my reaction was, all right, I'll put my shoes on.
So on the way we go, and what was great is that Ozark Actors Theater, they took care of this mom cat through her entire pregnancy.
Right.
Made sure she was fed, make sure that she was doing okay. Stephanie made sure she had a little birthing box that she could put her kittens in, to where they are away from the rain, because we're supposed to have like severe thunderstorms, which we end up doing. You know, we did.
Yeah.
Get them out of all of that. So they really, really, really helped keep this cat and her kittens alive until we were there to actually get them into a safe place.
And I have never gone to a rescue before that actually had everything done for us. I'm typically used to going there, trying to find them, trying to wrangle them all up. And
then driving, trying to keep them all together to where, you know, they're safe, we're safe, we're all safe, driving back home. But, man, Stephanie was on point with it. She had food for her, high-protein food. She had high-protein canned cat food to make sure that the cat keeps enough weight on her while she's nursing, because that's extremely important.
Yes.
I mean, she was on top of it. And I was like, oh, it's just like we picked up a box.
That was it.
We picked up a package.
I had a blanket, over my shoulder, ready to go and pick them up, because I thought, we're gonna have, because it was already kind of muddy. I'm like, she'll probably be muddy.
Mm-hmm.
The kittens, who knows?
Because the couple days before that, it stormed.
That day it was storming. So it was. I was really surprised. I was like, wow, we never have it this easy. Now it's funny because we're doing almost a daily update on how everything's going with them on our Facebook page, and I know that they're enjoying it over there, which that's how rescue should be. This is exactly how it should be. We should be you should be able to get involved and then see the progress, and not the cat's safe and I'll never see it or hear about it again. That's one thing that we like to do and make a little bit of a difference, so that the people can stay connected as much as possible.
And I thought it was kind of cool too. After so many fosters that we see, we run out of names to name them all, because when you take them to another actual facility, another rescue facility, they ask what did you name the animal, and instead of just generic mama cat,
dog, cat,
Fluffy,
right,
Shadow, we want to come with something a little more creative. Well, after a while, it gets kind of hard. But after I'm named Mama Cat Lady McBee, the folks over at the Ozark Actors Theater requested.
Well, they suggested.
There we go.
That's the word.
What did they suggest?
They suggested they were having a pre-show party and they were all talking about it. And they said they would love to know if it was possible. I mean, and it was so cool how they did. They're like, look, we understand. If you don't want to, that's totally cool. It's like, no. We love input. They wanted double. So for short, it's going to be DD, but double, toil, and trouble.
Great.
It's perfect.
They're perfect.
It's perfect. So that's going to be their names, double, or for short, DD, toil, and trouble. I think that's great. I think it's absolutely amazing.
And we'll find out which one's the trouble when they get up and moving. Find out which one's destroying stuff more, so we can accurately name them.
Well, yeah, we have the names. We just need to actually, by personality, because that's far from being shown yet.
And after a week or so, we'll lift up the skirt to find out which one's the female, and we'll call her Dee Dee.
Right.
And double.
And I thought it was great. I think every time I think of double, I just think of In-N-Out burgers.
I think of Double Dare.
Really?
Dee Dee.
Double Dare. You're aging yourself right there.
Hush, I'm not dating myself. Screw you.
Now.
Be done.
Now, all their eyes are starting to open. Only one has fully opened.
Yes, and the other ones are almost.
Yeah, within the weekend they'll be.
Within a few days, their eyes will be open. We'll take pictures and make sure that they get to see them. But one looks just like Mama.
Yeah.
And the other two have their own. They look like twins.
Yeah.
But it's really nifty. They're going to be very beautiful kittens.
And what was really strange is that their umbilical cords were still attached at the time.
Yeah, so they were about 2, maybe 3 days old when we picked them up. Stephanie said that it was more or less along the 3-day mark. but they're tiny.
They're very tiny.
Itty bitty tiny.
And they're very mouthy when you move them to a certain spot. They want to be in one spot. They like to huddle. Mama's been great though. Yesterday, which was Friday, she finally for the first time ventured out. She has not wanted to leave her room, which we gave her very own room. And so she's able to walk in and out of the kennel where the babies are, and there's a lot of room in there. She makes her way, throughout the days. She's made her way out of the actual kennel, but never left the actual room itself.
And
yesterday she did.
Lulu, Carl, and Gemma, that used to be their room.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to segue to there.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's exactly where I was going with
I was just saying is that
they're a little kind of like,
they're
what?
like, what? Who are you? And what are you doing in my room?
Well,
and so when the door gets opened, the two kittens, Carl and Gemma, run in there.
And see, they had that room for a while. That was
for a long while.
That's the foster room.
Yeah, that was their room to get away from our animals, because our animals can be very nosy
and playful. And when they're little kittens, or even puppies, when we have puppies in, our concierge, which is our Akita, she's the one that usually is always greeting. But with they're small, so here's this towering dog above a kitten or a puppy. But when with Carl and Gemma, they used to like to go underneath, in between the washer dryer, and there's this table there, and it would
hide away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a video of them. When they're a couple weeks old, they were poking in, they were playing hide and seek in there. Well, they missed that spot, but
and they go running in there, and Lady McBee is looking.
Yeah, she's very, very protective.
Get away from my kittens. Yeah. This is my room. And
she's not so. I mean, she is with Carl and Gemma, but not terrible with Spencer. She's also very protective.
I think Spencer is small enough to where it's not a threat. Whereas Carl and Gemma, they're big enough to do damage.
Now let's move over to Carl and Gemma and Lulu. Now they're all doing really well. We're still waiting for their trip for
a veterinarian.
For a veterinarian, we're still waiting on that one. Now, if you're new to this, the reason why they're Carl and Gemma, let's start with here, because a lot of you probably don't know. Carl could be a real fun. And I always like those memes that are on Facebook that, damn it, Carl, you had one job. So I always love those. So that's how he got Carl.
It's always, damn it, Carl. And that's the thing with Carl. Originally, it was Scaredy Cat, because he was the scared one. But he would do stuff that's not exactly intelligent.
Yeah.
So when he does something like a dum-dum move, and you're like, damn it, Carl,
it's perfect.
Stop it.
It's so perfect.
It's perfect for him. And he looks up at you with these big old eyes that are like, what?
What'd I do this
What happened?
time? Yeah.
I'm so lost. Damn it, Carl.
You only gave me one job. And it's hysterical. And then, of course, Gemma, now, for all of you who actually have been following along on Gemma, when we picked these guys up, Gemma would hiss, spit, and literally attack in a sense.
Crawl up the kennel. She had this big, huge M on her forehead. Yep. I originally called her Mighty Mouse, and Claire called her Hissy Cat.
Which are not adoptable names.
Right.
So, so we came up with Gemma. Now, Gemma is coming from the Sons of Anarchy series. The mom, who was played by Katie Seagal. That's the perfect Gemma.
Yes.
I don't know of anybody out there who is worse than Gemma.
Gemma was full of attitude.
Yep.
Just at you cross her, she'll be very dangerous. She'll cut you. So.
And that was exactly how Gemma the kitten is, just the same way. And Lulu, well, a sweet name for a very unsweet cat. Very tart cat. She's not a Sour Patch Kid at all. She is all sour, no sweet.
And that was basically from we were watching Revenge. And towards the last season, there was a character called Lou.
I don't remember what I don't remember how you got
Louise from
Okay.
Revenge.
And
she was a little mental. She'd be one way 1 minute and
bipolar.
Then
yeah.
She's total bipolar.
And Lulu is bipolar.
Like
yes.
She'll be very super sweet 1 minute, and then she'll swat and hiss and growl the next.
Yes.
So I'm like, you're Lulu.
That is it. And of course, you guys all know Spencer Rhodes. Spencer was the kitten that we actually rescued. Family was devoured by a predator. Only one of its clan left, and so he was found on Spencer Road, and so we named him Spencer Road. It's pretty simple as that. But all of them are doing great. Spencer is highly functioning. He actually got worm. What am I trying to?
He got dewormed.
Thank you.
The first round of deworming, we went in and got that for him.
1 cc of that. So
and then
his belly is not tender anymore, which is
no,
great.
it's still big.
It's still big, but I've been
Next week the vet said probably next week we'll start doing the whole revolution.
Yeah.
Getting him treated. He's extremely tiny.
Yes, yeah, I think he's a dwarf.
But
I'm hoping he's a dwarf.
Is advanced. So we look at the kittens that we have now when we know these kittens are about 3 days old.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they're about 9 since we've had them. So they're about 9 to 10 days old. These kittens are now.
That would be the Ozark Theater.
Yes.
Kittens.
DD, Toil, and Trouble.
Yep.
Now, I look at Spencer. When we picked Spencer up, we thought he wasn't any more than a week.
Yeah.
But Spencer had his eyes open. He was moving. He kept his head up. He was a little shaky, but he could get his head up.
He was just over a week.
So, but these kittens are a little over a week and nowhere near.
That's true.
So I think Spencer.
Think he was at 2?
He was at 2 weeks old when we got him.
Huh.
So that would make him more or less 7 weeks right now.
6, 7, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
it was a week before Father's Day that happened.
yeah. So in about a week or two, we'll check on how much he weighs. Once a kitten weighs about 2 pounds, he can get neutered.
1.1. We weighed him the other day. He was a
1
pound. 1 pound. Yeah, it was just over a pound. Yeah. So he's still a pound under, and probably I would say roughly close to the time for his spay and neuter.
Yeah, he's got to be 2.
He's gonna get both done. So that's what's going on in the foster front. I mean, it's very hectic, but it's worth it. And of course, as we always say, you can follow along on Facebook. We can do it almost. I try to do a daily progress on it. It's challenging.
Mind you, okay, we have. Let's do a recap here.
Oh boy.
We have Lady McBee.
Yes.
Double, Toil and Trouble.
That's 4.
That's 4 right there. Okay. Lulu, Gemma, Carl.
That's 7.
We have Spencer Rhodes.
That's 8.
Okay. Now that's just our fosters right now. That is 1 litter pan dump a day.
It's a lot of litter.
Lady McBee has her own, which we clean it out on a daily basis, and we don't need to change it as often.
Spencer has his own, and
Spencer has his own little tiny one that he can get into. As long as I keep the big cats out of it, he has his own.
Yeah.
But we changed a total to 1 to 2 pans of cat litter a day.
Yeah.
A day.
And I want to actually mention this before we go any close the book on this whole foster thing. We're not a non-profit.
No, we're not.
We don't actually accept any kind of financial donations. We're not like a lot of the NPOs that are out there or the 501c3s. Yes, you're the vice president of the call, but no revenue goes from any kind of fundraiser to you or to our advances of rescue. So when we do rescues, we don't actually have that kind of...
we assume responsibility except for vet care.
Yeah, that's where the call comes into it.
That's where I draw the line.
But we're not... it's a little bit different. Like a lot of people kind of think, well, the podcast is a 501c3 or non-profit organization. No, actually it's not. It's an actual rescue podcast / animal awareness, pet awareness type show that actually does everything, financially exposes ourselves, and we don't actually receive anything back, which is kind of a weird thing, I know. A lot of people don't understand that part. So I thought I'd throw that in there.
So we pay for all the litter, and right now we go through 3 cans of wet cat food a day.
Yep.
And about 4 to 5 scoops of 4 to 5 cups, actual cups of kibble.
Yep.
Cat kibble a day. And things have been a little overwhelming for us since we had our car totally went kaput. No
Which
longer.
that's another story.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into it.
Rescue 1 is pretty much underground.
It's done for. So that has been extremely expensive. But luckily, between Jewel and Debbie, they have done amazing things. Debbie bought us a whole bunch of cat litter and 2 15-pound bags of cat food and gave us, I think, like 6 cans of cat food.
Which was awesome. It was awesome. It's like,
my gosh.
We were pushing about $50 a week on just foster supplies.
Yeah, when we were tapped out.
Yeah.
And then we get this call, this email about Lady Macbeth. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. These guys can't stay in this water. I mean,
pneumonia would have set in. They would have probably died.
I could go without something so they can eat. It's not a big deal. I was willing to do that, but come to find out, Stephanie had a bag of cat food.
That was cool.
That's awesome. She came fed. All I had to do is supply the litter.
And we had the roof to put her under, so we were good.
Clean her kennel. That wasn't a big deal.
Nope.
Clean up around her. That's not a big deal. So that's been great. And then after we dumped a whole bunch of money into our other vehicle to get it up and running, a tree limb fell and smashed our tail end lens.
The tail light.
The driver's
side, yeah.
Driver's back tail light shattered the lens. Now the light's not working either, so I just pray it's something quick and simple that fixes the light itself.
Yeah. And it was going in for inspection to actually be...
Yes, the next day we were going to put in quite a few hundred into it and get the inspection done, all this other stuff to get drivable again.
Well, we never needed this car because the truck was great. The truck was Rescue 1. It did everything.
Yeah, we were just going to sell the car for scraps.
It would have been scrap, but we would have sold the car as is and it would have been done.
Or, in about a year or two, sell them both and get one really good, nice car. Anywho, Jewel was sweet enough to go and buy us the lens covering to our Taurus. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's been a lot of people out there helping us out.
Yeah, actually it's been really cool, with the whole situation with the escape going the way it did and within that tree limb the day before. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. So, we've had a lot of people actually step up, which is really cool, and we're really appreciative to it.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to the G&D news.
I don't watch the news.
This week on G&D News, we have our 2 stories, as we do. First story comes from Northern California, and, I may have a different approach to this, but you're a dog sitter, it's 4th of July, what the serious F? And the second story is really something that we all should be aware of, especially for all of us who take our dogs to dog parks, and the fear of parvo. So, let's go into our very first one, which comes from Northern California. So, Clip, play that clip.
Bay Area veteran is desperately looking for her lost service dog. His name is Leo. He's Golden Retriever Chow mix. He was last seen on Lower Sherman Island in Antioch. KPIX5's Don Ford on the people working to bring him back home.
Jess Walker's looking for Leo, the lost dog.
He's a service dog. He's trained to comfort others in need. He's super calm, super sweet.
He belongs to her friend, Army veteran Nick Bilba. Leo is her service dog, who is helping her deal with post-traumatic stress syndrome. While Nick was out of town for the weekend, Leo's dog sitter became separated from him while celebrating the 4th on Sherman Island in the Delta.
He was kind of playing around a little bit in the water and lying on the sun, and then I guess some fireworks were set off, from what I know, and he took off.
The group searched all weekend, but Leo is still missing. Nick's companion is invaluable, a member of the family, a vital help with her condition. Contra Costa Animal Services is on alert, hoping to reunite this veteran with her service dog.
Our officers took a walk through the kennel, looked to see if we identified the animal. We did not.
Leo has a microchip implanted under his skin, and if he's found, like all dogs, he will be scanned. And a coded number will identify him at once. Meanwhile, Jess is helping her friend Nick by searching the shelters for Leo. Animal shelter folks say by now the dog's fur could be matted and have dried mud, appearing to be very different than the photographs we've seen so far. So they're asking if anyone sees a dog that remotely resembles this animal, please give your local authorities a call. In Antioch, Don Ford, KPIX5.
A Craigslist posting says Leo has saved his owner's life multiple times, and now, quote, it's our turn.
Alright, well, for starters, it's 4th of July. We keep our dogs inside. We make sure that we actually have them in a nice, quiet environment, or even with a TV on, so that they're not going to be afraid. I mean, you know what? Obviously, this pet sitter, they didn't listen to the podcast.
Nope.
I know we didn't do a 4th of July theme this year because we've done it already. We've done it, I think, 2 years in a row.
It's everywhere out there. I don't know. All I know is I really, really hope they find him.
Yes.
Safe and sound. She gets her service dog back, and everything goes back to normal. And I hope he's safe.
I do too. The big picture is I hope that the dog comes back and it's okay.
Guarantee you, she's not gonna let another dog outside during 4th of July.
I look and I just go, you're an idiot for you're a pet sitter. You should know this already.
Well, was it an actual pet sitting service? I don't think.
I don't know if it was a pet sitting service.
If it was a pet sitting service, then I would expect more. But if it's a friend pet sitting, they might not have known. So you might be a little hard on somebody.
I am always very harsh though. That's the role I take. I find in the realm of stupidity, and I usually call that. I think it was a little bit much. All right. Well, we do hope that they get their dog back, and hopefully swiftly. Let's move on to our second story, which comes from Connecticut, and the fear of parvo. Claire, play that clip.
She and Caitlin Clouser of Camp Hill coming to Happy Tails Dog Park in Lower Paxton Township, Dauphin County. It's the best place for Molly to run around, despite some concerns.
It's kind of scary bringing her to a place like this. There's always that concern that she could be picking up something from other dog species.
Such as diseases like parvo.
They can potentially die.
Dr. Dana Walk of the Harrisburg Area Animal Hospital says it's that serious. And the Harrisburg Humane Society issued a statement that parvo cases are on the rise in the capital region. Extreme vomiting and diarrhea, similar to the human flu, found mostly in puppies and highly lethal.
It's not fun. You really don't want to eat. You don't want to drink. You can't keep anything in. That's what puppies go through.
An empty dog park is a good dog park, according to Dr. Walk. Parvo can only be transmitted through feces, so even if you're cleaning up, your dog still may be in danger.
Poop.
That's it.
And then they lick their paws. They end up...
They get their nose in it.
Yes, they get their nose in it. They eat grass.
So what's the fix? Dr. Walk says vaccinate, vaccinate, and vaccinate as early as 6 weeks old. Molly here should be good. Caitlin had her vaccinated, and still, there's always that cause for concern.
You hope that people are up to date with that kind of stuff, but you never know.
All right, so parvo. Parvo is the worst, but the thing is, you know, I understand people don't understand all of this stuff. That's kind of the hardship of it all. That's kind of why we started the podcast about all this stuff, because there's so many different things that people don't understand. You know, you have to have these vaccinations, and there are people out there who think kind of the same lines as they do with their kids, that the vaccinations are not right, that they don't want to do it, it can be harmful. But that's so not the case, and especially if you're taking your dog to a dog park where they're going to be more exposed, or you're going to be taking your dog to a kennel for boarding. So you're so much more up on parvo and all this stuff. So,
well, I believe you should vaccinate your dogs. That's just it. You do run a risk of your dog being allergic to vaccinations, just like children being allergic to vaccinations.
But the percentage is low.
It's low, but it can happen. You have animals that are allergic to flea medication. And I don't know where to start with this.
Vaccinate often.
Exactly. It's the same thing with the children. A lot of people don't want to get their kids vaccinated. Well, how do you think how do you think polio is not a thing anymore. It's because we vaccinate, and we continuously vaccinate.
That's kind of where this comes into play. You know, when you have your dog out at a dog park, you know, you may be very meticulous and care a lot about your dog and your dog's health, but there's always going to be somebody out there who doesn't. And they're just bringing their dog out there just because they may just be a place for them to meet a girl or guy. And I'm taking my dog out there. I'm not going to get it vaccinated, but I'm trying to hook up with someone.
Yeah, and then they get to deal with the ramifications of having an unvaccinated dog. Now, there are times where the dog can still get sick even with the vaccination. It's like getting the flu shot in humans. You could get your flu shot and still end up with the flu because it's a different strain.
Right.
Parvo, I believe, can be carried and not show signs, especially in vaccinated dogs. There's just no other excuse but to get them done. If you don't want to give your dog any kind of shots and you're against it, well, then what you need to do is keep your dog in your house.
Yeah, it has to be an indoor dog and
in a fenced backyard, and that is it. That dog doesn't go anywhere.
Right. And you have so many other things besides parvo. You have the actual dog flu that was going around, and that has its own vaccination. We did it. If you want more on that story, we have an actual episode where we covered it. These are things that are very, very, very important. And you're gonna if you do board your dog, especially now that we're in summer, if you're boarding your dog while you're on vacation, you're gonna have to have these vaccinations, or your dog can't be boarded. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, they regulate all the facilities, and if the dogs aren't vaccinated, they can't be boarded.
Yep.
So you definitely have to be concerned. So just a bit of, information. Be careful out there, and we treat our dogs like we do our children. We make sure we protect them at all costs. All right, well, that concludes GND News for this week.
Name the boss. Woof, woof.
Hello, contestant, and welcome. For the very first time in a while, we haven't done this one. We're playing Guess the Bark. How are you?
Oh, great.
All right. Now, for all of you who have not actually participated in this particular segment of our podcast, I'm going to play a bark of a specific breed of dog. I'm going to give you a little bit of attributes of this dog, and let's see if Sarah can guess the bark. Are you ready?
Yo.
All right, Claire, play the bark. All right. Now, you've heard the bark.
Yes.
Here's the actual attributes. This particular dog lives 8 to 10 years, and if you haven't noticed by the sound of the bark, it can weigh for a male 130 to 150 pounds. Females are 99 to 120 pounds. And the origin is Canada and England.
Massive.
Your answer is a mastiff.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That was a good guess, but it was actually a Newfoundland.
You had a little high pitch for a Newfie.
I think that was about right. I listened to that.
That was a little high pitch.
That was a Newfie. Well,
I call bull.
Yeah, well, you can call it all you want. And thank you for playing Guess the Bark.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your paws together for our main topic.
All right, well, here we are at their main topic, and it's a continuation of last week's podcast.
No, it's not.
I really like these two-part series because it gives everybody an opportunity to really kind of interact with these, and I'm entertained by it. All right, so last week we ended with the Lhasa Apso. This week we're going to pick.
Lhasa Apso.
Isn't that what I said? I said it right.
You know how many side story there on the Lhasa Apso?
But we've already passed through that.
There was a restaurant here in town called La Posada.
I remember that.
La Posada. And Carol, the last person I used to work with, she was like, Oh, it's one of those Laposada dogs.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what? Yeah, the Laposada.
Lapo. It's almost like, it sounds like liposuction.
I'm like, Lhasa Apso? Yeah. No, wait, that's the Mexican restaurant. I'm talking about La Posada. I'm like, no. La Posada is the restaurant. La Posada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this week we're going to start on the Irish Setter. Now, again, let me kind of get you guys all caught up on this. We actually, chose to discuss the top breeds, and that's what this all came up to, as we've discussed them. So this is the top most common breeds and different attributes about them that you may not know or you may know. All right. Although their popularity is presently waning, Irish settlers, the settlers, not the dog, the setters. The Irish setters are still ranked among the top 10 breeds for playfulness and affection. These lovable redheads are considered hardy, but some hereditary diseases do not occur. Ears require regular inspections and cleaning, as Irish setters are susceptible to ear mite infections, a serious hereditary neurological disorder known as quadriplegia with amblyopia. Boy, I am so glad I'm not a doctor, because I would not be good at it. Occasionally manifest in puppyhood. Affected dogs experience difficulty standing and may suffer seizures or tremors. That sounds terrible.
I know, right?
It is potentially dangerous blood clotting disorder. This is also... I am not doing well, apparently, today. This is probably not the best thing for me to do while having a migraine. But it actually says it has a possibility of blood clotting disorders. That is really rough. So, I can't think of really any Irish setters that come in.
We had one. We had St. Patrick.
Okay, I remember that. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, he didn't look the traditional. He had some hair that kind of was stringy. It was a little weird. But yes, we had one. We have more English setters than Irish setters coming in.
In my time, I mean, I only can think of the one that now that you mention it. Anything you want to add on that one? Because you probably see more than I have.
If you want to get this type of breed, you got to make sure that you can work them and work them a lot, because they are high energy, and a good dog's a tired dog, and or a tired dog's a good dog.
There you go. Hey, you're doing as good as I am. Woohoo!
My back's hurting, so leave me alone.
This is the podcast of the two podcasters who are really not in shape to do this.
So, be sure to exercise. Yes.
Hopefully you have a big backyard, or you can take them on walks.
You got a big trunk? No,
yes.
I'm kidding.
There you go. Somebody should not have watched 40-Year-Old Virgin today. Alright, our next dog is the Yorkshire Terrier. Known for possessing outsized personalities in an undersized package, the Yorkies have flounced into Americans' hearts. They are the third most popular breed in America. With silky blue tan coats and entitled terrier attitudes, they relish their roles as miniature divas. And that is so true. Yorkies are prone to digestive problems. Diet should be carefully monitored. I say that on every dog, folks. Every dog. Let's see. As with other toy breeds, trachea collapse, or trachea. Wow, boy, I'm doing great today. Trachea collapse is possible. Symptoms include shortness of breath, coughing, and fatigue. A hereditary defect. It's systemic shunt may cause toxins to accumulate in the blood, leading to behavior and neurological problems. Also, dietary have a lot to do with these things as well. Yorkies, one of the key words that you'll hear around a Yorkie is a dorky. There are a lot of great Yorkies out there. I mean, it really all depends on how how they're raised.
Yeah, they're also known as Yorkshire Terriers. Sometimes, the problem is that they're a small breed, they're a toy breed. So people want to hold on to them, want to carry them in their purse. By doing that, you're sheltering this dog from ever growing up.
A pair.
Yeah, and instead, you're growing it to be aggressive. Yeah. It's going to bite when it gets picked up. It's going to not want to walk on a leash. So it makes a groomer's life extremely difficult. If you're going to get a Yorkie, please make sure you go ahead and train it. Don't keep it in a purse. Don't carry it everywhere. It's got little legs. It can walk.
It's good for it to walk.
Yes, it's not going to kill him. Because once you get him to the groomer and the groomer tells you, yeah, your dog bites and bites hard.
But it could also have Napoleon complex as well.
Well, yeah,
it's small.
If you carry it around,
yes,
like it's a prince or a princess, it's going to happen.
I've seen a couple Yorkies that are named Prince or Princess.
And they get highly aggressive, and that is because people do not treat them like dogs. So they don't know how to properly act.
I don't even know what to call what they're treated as. They're treated more like teddy bears.
Well, yeah, they're pampered and they're purse dogs, and nobody lets their dog be dogs anymore, and that's the problem. But luckily around here they're okay Yorkies. We don't have any really.
I don't think we have any vicious ones. No Cujos.
Used to.
I've seen a couple.
Out in California, it's worse.
Yeah.
Out here, you don't have very many purse dogs. Dogs are dogs here.
Well, there's a couple.
Most of them, they're treated like dogs,
yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, oh my God, he's treating it like a dog. Oh, because it's a dog, you don't mean to treat it like a dog. No, not that way.
Our next dog is a Dalmatian. Now, I've seen some great Dalmatians. I've seen the other side of it. We have one that's a show Dalmatian that comes in, and it's just absolutely the best dog. I just love when that dog comes in. I love it. I love that dog.
High energy, and again, just like the setters, you got to be able to work them. You got to be able to get in there and tire them out, so they'll be good.
Right.
If not, they're just going to bounce off the walls.
Now it says they're patient, they're gentle, and hardy. Dalmatians are famous for their association with firemen, which is funny because I've never seen a Dalmatian on the back of a fire truck or in a fire truck for that matter. And as the fictional heroes in a series of popular Disney movies, the most common hereditary defect in this breed is deafness. Although reputable breeders are working to eradicate the problem, let's think of erosion, a tendency to develop crystal in the urine and kidney or bladder stones is another common problem that may require special diet and or surgery to correct.
One thing too that you can do to avoid that is definitely get onto a food that will help the urinary tract system, but also don't let them drink tap water.
Yes.
Switch it to distilled bottled water, or boil the water itself and then wait till it cools, or add purified ice water to it so it cools down, so you're not going to burn your dog. I am not suggesting to give them boiling hot water. I'm saying if you boil the water yourself, you boil out all the minerals that are coming through the tap, leaves you with distilled water. That's the water you need to be feeding them or offering them.
Very good point. All right, the next one. Now, this breed has always been my mom's favorite breed, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, because we see quite a few of them. The Cocker Spaniel. Now,
I don't even know where to begin with.
I don't even know. I was gonna say I don't know where to start.
Steer clear.
Yeah.
Steer far away from the Cocker Spaniel.
It's a difficult breed. Let's see. They're known for their flowing coats, but owning a supermodel's tresses, comes at a price. I think that should have been dressed.
No.
At a price. Cocker Spaniels require frequent bathing and brushing to keep their long hair free of tangles. Spaniels may become tangled in thickets. Where am I at? These areas should be avoided. Susceptible, to ear. Susceptible. I am not. My eyes are not working today. I should not.
Where are your glasses?
I left them at home.
Oh, well, that's good.
I know, right?
At least they're safe and sound on
They
the couch.
are. No. They're in their box
Okay.
on the table.
At least they're safe and sound and not being used.
Right.
Yeah.
They're susceptible to ear infections and eye problems. And trust me, I've been thinking about this already. I'm like, I really needed my glasses when I'm reading this stuff. Yeah. Let's see. They're susceptible to eye infections and eye problems. Spaniels may also inherit a condition called seborrhea, which causes chronic waxy ear buildup. Yes. And a greasy, smelly, and or scaly skin and coat.
Yeah, avoid the Cocker Spaniel, guys. I mean, just as simple as that, avoid it. Cocker Spaniels are one of the #1 senior dogs that are given up at shelters.
Oh boy, yeah.
When a Cocker Spaniel is a puppy, they're adorable, they're sweet, they smell good, they play, they're fun.
Their big floppy ears are adorable.
They're cute. So it's like a fuzzy basset at first. Well, then they start growing in. And when they start growing, everything starts going wrong. They start getting ear infections because they're dropped ears.
Yeah.
And the hair that's on them weighs them down, so they don't get air into those ears to get the yeast down and minimize infection. Another thing too is that that scaly skin that they were talking about gets built up in their pads, and then Cocker Spaniels get aggressive. When you're trying to shave out their pads, they hate their feet messed with. So here you are having a Cocker Spaniel that was super cute as a puppy, but now is getting aggressive towards the groomer, gets aggressive towards strangers, because if they're sheltered and kept to just the family and then brought out to the world, you get a very aggressive dog.
When we say socialize your dog,
Yes.
It doesn't matter the breed.
This is extremely important for a cocker. You gotta get them out, gotta get them out there. Now, you don't have to have your Cocker Spaniel fully in long coat. You can have him shaved down. It's not going to kill him. It's not going to hurt him. I like the traditional Cocker Spaniel cut. We have 2 dogs that come in with the absolute traditional, and that's Bailey and Buddy. They actually look a lot alike. They have the same coloring, but one's a puppy and one's grown. But Bailey, I've been seeing since he was a puppy, and so he does not bite for feet. He does not get aggressive with me whatsoever. And I clean him on a regular basis. He comes in every 5 weeks for a groom. 6 weeks maybe. So we always have him in tip-top shape. Then there's other Cocker Spaniels that come in that they only come in every 2 months to get just stripped down.
Right.
And those are the ones with horrible skin. They're overweight. They got really bad ears that stink like potato chips. So you got to be careful. If you're going to get a Cocker Spaniel, be prepared.
Yeah.
They don't stay this cute for long. And then once they become a senior, they start failing. Their ears failing, their eyes start failing, their teeth start failing on them, they start getting rotten and they start hurting them. They start getting cranky, they get gross. A lot of them suffer from skin tabs, cysts, tumors. And so eventually that dog gets to about 10 years old and people are like, I don't want him anymore, and releases them to the pound where they're sedated or euthanized.
Right.
So please stay away from this breed unless you know and you're willing to put in the effort for the 10, 15, 16 years it takes for this pup to live its entire life happily.
And another thing that
Sorry, I went on a little long tangent.
No, it's okay. The other thing I would say is if you are going to be bathing your dog at home and you have a Cocker Spaniel, make sure to put cotton balls in its ears.
Yes, that is one huge way to lower the risk of ear infection when cleaning. If you take your dog to the groomer, request cotton balls in the ears. That is an excellent point to bring up, especially with them.
That's my takeaway from it. That's the biggest takeaway, especially if they're prone to ear infections.
Yes. A good groomer would use 2 sets of cotton balls.
Yes.
One during the wash, then they take those out because those will have water already in them. So you take them out and you put fresh, dry cotton balls in there for the drying process.
That will eliminate everything.
Yep. It stops the forceful air going down the ear canal, and it helps muffle the sound.
Well, you shouldn't have ear.
I'm just saying.
I mean, seriously, I'm going to actually go with this. When you're drying a cocker's ears, you should be pinching the ear canal so no air can go down there.
It's not really pinching, it's just using your thumb
closing it.
To cover the
right. You should be closing it, manually closing the hole so that there's no air. But then again, you know. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is an adorable little thing, and I've had very little bad experiences with them, and that is the pug. It is familiar. For their flat pushed in face, pugs are generally a healthy breed that live a long life. While the flat fronted face is part of the charm, it can lead to breathing problems, which we've talked about this on other breeds as well, which may develop into snoring at night or and trust me, that's not just at night, that's anytime it's sleeping.
Well, just like the Yorkshire Terrier, they also have a trachea problem where it will collapse if enough pressure is pushed on around their neck, and sometimes their restrictive airflow from their nose can cause problems, and snoring is number one.
Also, difficulty breathing in hot weather and humidity. The pug prefers living its days as a house companion, steering clear of extremely hot or cold temperatures, although moderate exercise is still essential as the breed is known to become overweight. And of course, you know, your diet is the nutritional diet is everything on every dog breed, but, you know, it's not one of those dogs that's a working dog, so it's not going to have that kind of exercise.
And naturally, the pugs are really good about getting, just being loving. So I've never really met one that was aggressive to touch or aggressive to play with. But what needs to happen with these pugs is to make sure that you are every 3-4 weeks getting their nails trimmed. Because that's when the aggression comes out. That's when their emotions start going out of control. Is when you take them to the grooming salon to get their nails trimmed. It normally takes 2 or 3 people just to do one pug. Because you can't put a muzzle on them.
Nope.
You can try to cone them.
You can e-collar them, yeah.
But the cone will come right off. Because their heads... Because their body is bigger than their heads.
It's just all of a sudden... Oh, wait, I thought I just had that on there.
So typically you have one person holding him against the body, and then another one holding the head, and then you're finally there holding onto the paw trying to trim them.
Alright, now the next one. This one can be a very aggressive breed. This one I've definitely seen more aggression from than any other kind of breed out there. This particular breed, I would say, is the essential to what people think the pit bull can be. And that is the Chihuahua.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Or, as the actual term is, Chihuahua. Chihuahua. Now, I love the Taco Bell dog, but I also know not to take them lightly. Made famous by Taco Bell commercials, this tiny breed weighs in around 6 pounds or less. This next line is completely incorrect. A gentle breed that will pair well with an equally gentle owner. Chihuahuas can live a relatively long life for dogs, around 12 to 15 years. The Chihuahua is not exempt from health concerns, however. The most common being, let's see, I won't even try to get that one. But kneecap injuries, other medical concerns include teeth overcrowding and hypoglycemia from burning those energies from burning more energy than what is being taken in. Commonly noticed by shivering, lack of energy, and problems with muscular coordination. This is not a gentle breed, folks. I mean,
it depends.
We're fortunate.
It really depends.
Belle Grande, our Chihuahua, is very sweet, very loving. Does not have that aggression.
She has. They have one or two things. It's either fight or flight. And Belle Grande has flight. She will run as fast as possible to get away from anything scary.
My first dog bite was a Chihuahua.
My first dog bite was a Chihuahua.
And we're survivors. This is the survival group of the Chihuahua bite. I think the one thing that you need to understand is it's a dog with Napoleon complex. It is a very tiny dog that will want to step up to everything.
It's just like the Yorkshire Terrier. They will absolutely go ballistic if you use them as a purse dog. You see them all the time. You see this beautiful, cute little Chihuahua. And then a groomer sees teeth. It sees a vampire. It sees glowing eyes. And nobody wants to touch him. My first actual sent to the hospital bite was from a Chihuahua.
I was able to pull back in time before it became massive, but I still got a nip.
Lucky.
Yeah, right. I was smart enough to pull back. But, yeah, it's like even right now, we currently have one Chihuahua that's boarding, and it's the only dog that actually is growling and snarling at me behind its kennel door. Well, every other dog, whether it's small or very large, is right there going, hi, I love you. Would you come over and say hi to me? I love you. You're so nice. And it's going, I'm going to eat you. And I'm just going, really? Seriously? I mean, my demeanor is the same with every dog. It's, ooh, doggy, let's go say hi.
Right.
But this one, it's the same thing. Very rare will you find, at least for me, very rare have I found a Chihuahua that's not very aggressive. And if you have kids and you're looking to get a dog, honestly, Chihuahuas are one of those dogs that I actually say, stay away from. It's like the perception. In America, pit bulls are aggressive and they'll kill you, which is, obviously not true. It depends on how they're raised. You have in England, you have the Akita that's aggressive and will kill you. I feel like the Chihuahua is more of the aggressor than most dog breeds out there.
The only thing that saves them is that they're so small, the damage is minimal.
It still hurts.
They can still scar up your face. They can still disfigure your face to the point where
they can still hit. If they bite your face, your hand, they can take a muscle
or
nerve,
and you're done for.
Yep.
Again, take your dog out on walks. Let other people play with them. Let other people walk them. Take them to the groomer on a regular basis.
But if you're adopting a 4-year-old dog and you see a little bit of aggression, you think, hey, I can work with this dog. Most likely is you can't. All right.
Well, it might. I mean, I wouldn't say that.
If it
does have an aggressive issue, then you got to work with it. You let the groomer know, so the groomer's prepared.
True.
So you don't just go down and say, "Oh, hi, pretty puppy," and then you get bit.
I
don't want anybody to think that they should give up on a dog that's being picked up from a shelter that might have a little aggression.
I actually had one come in for a bath brush nails. And the lady was just so sweet old lady, and she goes, "Oh, my dog is so sweet," which is a key comment. My dog's really sweet. I took it back, and it was a terror. And when it came out, I was like, just to let you know, your dog shows signs of aggression. And you know what her response was? Oh yes, I know.
Yeah, you gotta be honest with your groomer.
That was one of those moments that it was like...
Be honest with your veterinarian.
Yeah, especially, both people who have to see your dog. I love the fact that when she dropped off, oh, my dog's so sweet, lovable, never shows any signs of aggression, but then once I brought it back to her and told her, she was completely aware of it. Oh, boy. All right, let's move on. The next dog on this list of top dogs is the Boxer. I love the Boxer. I think it's elegant. I think it's a great dog. I swear we had a Boxer in this week. Did we? I thought we did. I could swear I did. I don't remember.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Earlier in the week.
I did. Okay, I thought I did. Great dog. I remember because I was like, oh, this dog was awesome. It's highly athletic and originally trained for dog fighting. That's so sad. The boxer is rumored to have acquired its name from the way it uses its front paws for nearly every activity, seeming to bat an object as it was sparring. This compact and muscular breed is susceptible to a number of conditions, though boxers are prone to health-related and thyroid problems as well as skin allergies. Other serious medical concerns include cancer, arthritis, hip dysplasia, and knee issues. I read that like I had my glasses on. Alright. So, and that was our last dog, obviously, on this list.
I love boxers.
I do.
Very rare do we have a boxer that has any kind of attitude problems. Again, you gotta socialize them. When it comes to skin allergies, they're bad about it. Now, one thing I do want people to realize, the Royal Canin boxer stuff, the food.
Oh yeah.
It's not formulated just for boxers. It is curved for their mouth, and that's it. Royal Canin is not a grain-free food. You need to feed a boxer a grain-free food. Anything that is grain-free. Bison is one of the less likely to cause allergies. So if you can find a grain-free with bison in it, probably do the best for your boxer and not the Royal Canin boxer stuff.
Good point. And of course, if you're going to be giving bringing your dog to a groomer and it has skin allergies, there's an easy way. Make sure you tell the actual groomer it has skin problems and that you actually need it to be bathed in a hypoallergenic shampoo.
Or even a soapless shampoo, an oatmeal soapless shampoo.
I was going to say oatmeal as
That's
well.
what we have, oatmeal soapless shampoo.
Yep. And that really combats every bit of problem. So these are pretty much, in a summary, these are your top dogs in by choice. And each one, you may be partial to one of these breeds and you may just love that breed and never want another one. I mean, we know people who are poodle enthusiasts. We know people who are Cocker Spaniel enthusiasts. And, there's other people who are Dachshund enthusiasts. Whatever fits your needs, whatever you enjoy, whatever you love having as your little furry companion, we say go for it.
Just do your research.
But do your research. And again, like always, we do as much as we can for you on this podcast and hope that our insight, because we do see them on a constant basis, might be, a little bit of an idea for you. All right. Anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
All right. Well, by that sound, Claire has turned on the applause sign, so that must mean we have to leave. I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week.
I'm Sarah Green. Make sure everybody realizes life is so short. Play with your cat.
Claire.
I'm Claire Green. Hope your kittens and pets.
And she's learning to talk into the mic, folks. I'm proud of you. I really am. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go. It's my bedtime.
And now the show is over now.